and we were all unable to make the presentation by Marva at 4 for obvious reasons. Oh, you made it? You went there today? That's where you were at? Oh, you went last night. Okay. I wasn't able to go. Can we ask, I don't know what it would cost or what we could do, but can we get the same presentation to us? It seems like we're a key part of it. From Marva?
Have we been asked to be part of it?
Well, we're all over the report.
Well,
to make this thing work in the model.
And we also,
Yes,
with faith,
we have.
You did say at faith we are committed to.
Oh yeah, and I guess I committed myself at Faith, which is
Well,
true.
we've not had a conversation as council. We've not taken any
Yeah.
official position here from the day.
Well, I guess we don't have to take official position, even though I've definitely said it as an individual member. I'd like to have a presentation because I have questions, but I'd prefer the questions to be. I support it. I have never hidden the fact that I think we need to have it out near the jail and change the cities. I have not hidden that fact. But I think that conversation needs to be in the council chambers, and we need to do it together. And if we don't do it without him here, we really don't know what we're talking about, because we're talking about something we don't know, and that's never safe. That's never a good thing. It's never stopped us before, but I think at least we could ask, what would it take to have Dr. Marbut to come in. We have his report, but to do the presentation as the others and have a formal conversation. I guess all I'm asking staff is, can they find out what we need to do to make that happen?
Sure.
You don't have to make it happen, even though I do want it to happen, but at least find out what we need to do.
I'm sure all you got to do is ask him.
I think there might be, he's a paid consultant, so I don't know if there's a
He's
fee.
already been paid. It's part of the presentation.
No.
So.
He hasn't been paid to come see us.
And it might be a big deal.
Well, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. It should be a pleasure and an honor for him to see us. It seems how he slandered our name all over the paper.
You're right.
It's hazard pay.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair.
I agree with Mr. Wagner, something that's going to come up, and I gather there weren't many difficult questions at the city of Daytona Beach, but I think that if he were to show up here, he might get some difficult questions, not hostile questions, not hostile, but there are things that need to be fleshed out that have been glossed over, and they do need to be fleshed out.
Mr. Chairman, I chime in?
Sure. Come on in. Everybody else, the water's fine.
I think that we ought to have that discussion here. I think that we as a council, whether we want to buy in or not, is one thing, but I think that we have a commitment and responsibility, because from last night's discussion, this is a big topic for Volusia County. And I think we would not be doing ourselves justice, other citizens we represent, if we don't at least have that discussion and have that presentation here. And that's my opinion.
Can I? Sure, you may chime in.
Oh, I was going to. Let me borrow.
Can I hug you while you do?
I don't. You can do whatever you want to, but
Personal space, I like it.
that report has been out. I've read so much in the paper. I've heard so much about this that I don't see. If you haven't read it, if you haven't read the newspaper and you don't know anything about what it is now, then you'll never know what the.
I've done both.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to really sit through the whole thing. This thing has gone on for so long that if you don't know what it's all about now, then you'll never know anything about it. And I don't think having him come in here, he's controversial to begin with. Sarasota told him to take his little plan and pack it in and leave. And already the sheriff over there in Pinellas County has been very critical of what has come out. So, it's controversial. It is. And I really don't want to hear it. So that's my feeling.
All right. Ms. Connors.
If it's the council's interest, we can certainly determine what would be involved. I would agree. I think he's not been paid to come here. He will certainly be expecting, compensation
Well,
for his
Ms.
time.
Connors, Let me ask you this. If you hadn't been paid to come here, and somehow, from what I read the report, and I did not see a lot of substance. And that's why I did not go to the presentation last night. If we're going to go from A to B and get this thing done, there has to be some meat on the bones. There has to be, how do we flesh this out? Maybe he's not the person, maybe he's the big idea person who just says, well, what you really need to do is you need to stop, your random acts of kindness and to focus on getting people off the streets. Okay, that's fine. But, we need somebody who can say, well, how do you actually do that? What are the steps A, B, C? What do they cost? And maybe he's not the guy. And maybe it's somebody else. And maybe our time would be better spent talking to somebody who had that kind of information. I don't know.
There you go. You're working. Wow.
Every now and then, I think that it would be best to have staff just turn it over to Mr. Deneen and let staff, and then do an analysis on it and bring it back to us here at the council to look at this whole thing, because I think it's a lot of money, and it not only it kind of talking about homeless individuals, but it moves into homeless families. This thing is like our water issues. It can start costing us a lot of money for a long time, and we really need to know what we're getting into. And just like with the water issues, we need to know where the cities are going to buy into us, because this is big a problem for them as it would be for us. So maybe if we just gave some direction to staff to look at that proposal and bring it back to us, and for the manager to do that. That's where I would like to be, rather than bringing him in. If you really feel that what he's done is not really a lot of meat on the bone here, then I think it'd be up to the manager and the staff to find out how much meat is on this bone, and whether we're going to.
And that's what I would be interested in is information. How do you make it? How do you get there? How do you make it happen? What does it cost? How are we going to fund it?
Here's the thing. I'm not interested until the cities and these groups that say that they've been wanting this have come through. And this is what I've told them. I don't want to see a resolution of support. I want to see a contract with a signature on it and a financial commitment. I haven't seen that to date from one organization. Do we support it? Can it work? Who knows? It's the funding, and until they want money, we won't see them. That's the truth. Just like they held this meeting at 4 o'clock today in the city of DeLand, knowing full well we were in council at 4 o'clock, which stopped all of us from questions and answering. When the consultant was there in DeLand, that was purposely done. It was. So I am, and I tell this to all of my friends and the electeds and the people in the community. Until I see if this is an issue that everybody has bought into, including the faith organization and the cities, they would have started a nonprofit and they would have been depositing money into an account. They would have had a foundation. There's no foundation set. There's no contractual agreement. There's no money. So from a consultant who was brought in, and I agree with what Councilman Patterson said. Yeah, with you, with the socks. That until there's a commitment from the other parties, we have nothing other than just another presentation. And I don't want to sit here and listen to a presentation that has nothing in it and no commitment from anybody, but yet here's the bill. I'm not willing to do that.
Well, and maybe it may be. I'm sorry, Mr. Cusack. No, go ahead, Mr.
I'm
Cusack.
next on the list. I'm in front of her.
No.
See how that is?
Whoa. No, Ms. Cusack has the floor, actually. She's just been kind to let us all chime in to give our opinion.
What I'm thinking is that if you don't begin to listen and have some dialogue, and here we are thinking maybe we should go in a different direction, So we'll be out there by ourselves as a council who represents Volusia County, and everybody else is listening and talking, and here we want to take our ball and go home
With the other one?
and not be involved. That's what I say.
We haven't been invited in.
Well, we could have some dialogue here, and I think that we could have that presentation. And we should find out about it. We are not doing anything about the homeless situation. So we ought to begin to have. We cannot think that we're in a vacuum here. This is a problem that is widespread, and it is a part of Volusia County problem. And so for us to think that because they had a meeting last night. Many of us, I went, but I mean, we all have things to do. We could not go today, but let's not think that we cannot have dialogue and work and talk and be at the same table. You go to that table and say you don't believe in what he has to say. You can question. But I just don't think that it's right to say, oh, no, we're not having anything to do with them unless they put skin in the game. But first. So maybe we all need to take something away. I just don't think it's fair for us to think that we have to be alone and they have to always, we make the decision just for county government. We live in Volusia County. And so all of us are responsible. I'm done, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, Mr. Wagner, you go ahead.
I like Doug's idea. I like Pat Patterson's idea. I say we do both. We have staff.
You don't like mine?
Well, you're part of it. You're part of it. You are. I like Denny's idea. I like Pat Northy's and Joyce Cusack's. I just don't like Josh Wagner's idea. But no, I'm just kidding.
What the hell?
What we could do, I'm trying to bring everybody around. What we could do is have staff analyze it, be prepared. We read it. He comes in. Doug's right. If the hard questions are going to be asked,
Did you say Doug was right?
Doug's right.
He did.
Doug is right in the sense of if
I
anyone's going to
can't
ask
say-
hard questions, it is us. It is us. I mean, we're being told, well, you know, we could build it. There's half the funding. Well, if you want to have the News Journal write a report and an article about this report, we may not be able to get him to come here because he knows the questions that are going to be asked. I mean, we're going to ask hard questions. They're not mean. They're not degrading. They are hard questions. But unless we're in the forum to ask the hard questions, we're not going to get the hard answers. That's just the way it is. So I agree with all of you.
You know, we
At
could
once.
actually call a special meeting to have him come here and not
Just do it as
for
a normal
council.
meeting.
You
Just-
want to do it as a council meeting? Oh, come on. All right. All right, Mr. Are you done, sir?
I'm done as long as everybody's voting the way I want.
You're never done. Mr. Daniels, you have the floor, sir. I'm glad I wasn't hungry.
I am in agreement, actually, with Mr. Wagner, except for I don't think it really matters if we have. It might be good to have him here, but I do think that what we need to do is we need to sit down, get some hard numbers, get some hard information, get some staff analysis first, and maybe have some questions sent to him first, if he's going to come, so that you know, we're not to ambush anybody, but for him to know we really want the numbers, you know. And, you know, Stuart Marchman, too, they ought to be here. One of the big players he had in making things happen out there was Stuart Marchman. But I didn't really see numbers where Stuart Marchman was being paid, and I don't think Stuart Marchman works for free. You know, things like that. You know, maybe I missed it, maybe I was wrong, maybe the Stuart Marchman numbers were in there, but it wasn't really clear from what he did. He had Stuart Marchman, to my reading, he had Stuart Marchman carrying the load for free, and that's just not going to happen.
All right, Mr. Patterson,
Well,
you're on.
Yeah, I guess so.
Pushing on again. I'll try it.
1, 2. Can I rent this thing for a while?
As long as I could sit like this. How's it going, man?
All right, Joe, come on.
Jeez. This is getting a little squirrely over here. I thought this kind of stuff only happened on Navy ships. Oh, wait a minute. It was Army barracks.
Hey, no. Back off there.
I think it is. I think that the staff should really analyze this thing and bring it to us, and we can really make some decisions. I think maybe once we get some of the hard questions asked, this new monthly meeting where maybe Mr. Daniels can go in and tell them what staff is, and I could see where the county manager meeting with the managers group that he does and laying it out to those managers and get their input as to how they feel about it, because they're the ones that have to live with that budget, if it is. But if you've got like in Pinellas County, where 10 of the cities have already pulled out of that project over there, we don't want to get into something that is going to leave us hanging in the wind there. So I think that would be my suggestion. I think we've got that. Jamie, you looking at me? Can you hear me now? There we go. So there's my suggestion. And if Jim was here, he'd probably be running out the back door right now.
Yeah, he's been listening to us. He's running over here now. Ms. Northey, you have the floor.
Thank you. And before next meeting, I surely hope we have this mic issue resolved, because it's really annoying. I'm good with that, but I don't want it to be lost by anybody here and people that are hearing this on the internet and people out there in the community. The county council, the county government already contributes hundreds of thousands of dollars to this issue. We are not people that are not feeling, and we are not members of a community that do not participate. Children and Family Services dollars go to feeding the homeless. CBDG grant money goes to providing shelter, an emergency shelter, an emergency cost. I mean, we are already a contributor, and we need to be sure that people understand that. I am betting that we probably are a bigger contributor than any of the cities already. The thing that concerns me, it was, I think, April when we were before Faith, and nothing has happened with those other governmental agencies to sit down and say, here's what we're going to do, or the faith organization. There has to be someone who takes up a leadership role, and homelessness is not ours as much as it is a city issue. It's a municipal issue. I'm willing to do my share, but I am not willing for us to be the one who gets banged on. We're already doing our stuff. We're already contributing. And that's getting lost in all this discussion. And Mr. Daniels, you were right about Stuart Marchman. I have a meeting set with them, with Chet, because I don't think that they are necessarily sure what their role is going to be in this.
It's running the whole thing.
Well, but how much exactly? I mean, so there's a lot of questions to be asked, but it should not go unnoticed that we are participating already, and that we have made good faith on this issue, and now it's time for some others to make good faith.
And
done.
She's done. Can I get my follow-up?
No.
Wait a minute here. I'm
I can say it.
Yes.
I mean, it's true.
Well, it also doesn't mean I'm going to listen to you. I don't. Jeez, this thing's going to kill us here. Listening to everybody. Okay, you want to bring this guy in, whoever, Doctor, whatever his name is. No, Doctor, no. Okay, no, it's not Doctor. No. If the majority of the council wants to bring him in here, fine, bring him in here. But I don't think that. If he is such an authority and wants to help the community so much, then don't come to me and ask for a paycheck too. come here and present your information if it's so factual, if it's going to help the community. Come on in, have it stand right there in front of that dais and give us your information and do your presentation. Because I have to agree with Ms. Northey on this too. We do give. We give till it hurts. Matter of fact, in 30 days, the Volusia County Council we are going to beat everybody's butt in feeding the homeless this year because we do it every year. We bring the food in. And we're going to win this year, by the way. We're going to win it this year. Don't even go there, Heidi. She's a spy on us now. But all of our governmental agencies, we pack in thousands and thousands of pounds of food. We support Stuart Marchman. We help out the Halifax Urban Ministries. And I've talked with these people individually. I said, what more do you want? I mean, we have given and given and given. I said, why don't you go to these cities and start asking? And they go, oh, okay, we'll do that. And Ms. Northey's right. Nobody's stepped up to the plate to do anything except for us. And I think it's time the cities did. They need to step up because it's an issue that's in their communities. It's not out here in the rural areas of Volusia County. So, Mr. Wagner, and then Mr. Daniels, Ms. Kuzak, and then we'll try to get out of here tonight.
Guys, let's everyone get off their high horse. Please. Please. We contribute money that's passed through mostly. There is some general fund issues. The jail. We pay money. I get it. However, we could, in my opinion, be using it better. You know who pays? 1/3 of the homeless population that when you talk about we're paying money doing this, who pays are the people living in these neighborhoods. Because I know where you guys live, and I can tell you don't have a homeless shelter next to your house. So when 1/3 of the population is stealing from these people, their kids are waiting for school buses and they're afraid for them to sit at the corner and wait for the school bus. Yeah, they're paying. So when you want to talk about paying, how about the paying of a quality of life? How about paying for that? So when you talk about the city of Daytona Beach, they stepped up. They have contributed. What'd they do? They paid for this thing. Why has no one else been going forward yet? The report just came out. It just came out. The only high horse I'm on are for the people that have been affected in these neighborhoods for far too long. And I think this is a county problem. And it wouldn't take that much to bring the person in who is Jason. He is a paid consultant. This guy is no volunteer. He is a paid consultant. He's not doing this for charity. He's paid. And I'm okay with paying professionals. I'd rather pay. So I'm going to get off my high horse. But it wouldn't be that long for us to sit in and have this conversation. The cities have stepped up by starting this. They are wanting change. They want us to be a part of it.
We are. And for your information, my horse is only 13 hands high. He's not 16, so he's not a high horse. She's really small. But Doug Daniels, would you like to try to close his comments on this issue?
I don't think that's possible.
But you're going to try.
Would like to say this. I would like to say that we should not leave the impression that the cities have done nothing because they have contributed to the study. They gave Daytona Beach money for the study. A number of the cities, particularly on the east side, Ormond Beach, Port Orange, a number of them, I think 5 or 6 of them contributed money. They are not, you shouldn't be portrayed as running from the issue. They are not.
Okay.
One other thing is another suggestion for the staff, and you probably don't want this one either. But in addition to, coming up with some numbers as to how this thing would actually run, we have this circular firing squad they call the Homeless Community Funding Group that have been shooting at each other right regularly. What it would be good to do is to find out what money comes in from the federal government and these other agencies for homeless issues and what they intend to do with it. I mean, do they intend to participate? Do they have other programs they intend to fund? What is the story? What was the fight about? We can't have them fighting and expect this to go anywhere. The fight has to be over. That has to be settled somehow. But that's just another issue that needs to be dealt with in the grand scheme of things. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, test 1, 2. Okay. Ms. Cusack, believe it or not, you still have the floor. So,
Mr. Chair, I just want to reiterate that if we are contributing, but there are other folk contributing. However, are we contributing in the best manner in which we can contribute? Maybe if we are working and doing some things differently, we may be able to get more bang for the buck. So all I'm saying is that, and I agree with everything that's saying here, that has been said. All I want to say is that I want Volusia County to be a part of the dialogue as we address the homeless problems in this county, and that we cannot do it alone, that we need to be a part of this process. And with that, Mr. Chair, I relinquish the floor.
that was quite the... Yes, it did. And okay, is this thing going to work? Test 1, 2. Test. There we go. All right. Thank you, Ms. Cusack. Mr. Daniels, is there any other closing comments that you would like to bring forth other than homelessness?
Have we talked about homeless yet?
Yes, we have.
Okay,
I think
well, I'm done then. Thank you.
we've talked that one to death. Thank you, sir. All right.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, we need to take a break for a second. Our recording is stopped.
We just ran it out.
We just ran out of tape. That's it.